Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be doing a video for this look because a lot of you guys seem to really like it when I posted pictures on my Instagram. So let's go ahead and get into it. I started off using the Saharan 2 palette from Juvia's Place. You guys already know Juvia's Place is like one of my favorite companies to go to for eyeshadows. I pointed to the dark brown color on the lower left hand corner, but I definitely didn't use that color. I don't even know why I pointed to it. I used the color on the other side of that red shade called Taza. I went ahead and place that onto the crease first. Then I'm going to go into a yellow shade from the Zulu palette as well as the yellow from the Festival palette and blend those two colors together to diffuse that orange brown shade that I used last. I'm just taking that in with a little tapered brush and going over the edges just to make sure they're nice and smooth. Now I'm going into the red eyeshadow from the Saharan 2 palette. This shade is called Zora. It's one of my favorites actually out of the palette. I've been using this color a lot for different makeup looks and it's so pretty. I'm just throwing that into the crease to deepen up the look a little bit and kind of get more of that color going. And like always, I'm gonna go in with my previous brushes to blend out the edges. I'm then going to go into the Makeup Revolution Concealer. This one is in the shade C10. And I'm using a flat brush from Sigma to apply this onto the lid area. And I'm also going to blend out the edges of the concealer. I didn't want to do a cut crease for this look. I've been really liking like the diffuse like eyeshadow looks. And it's definitely inspired by Mitchell on Instagram. He's been posting like a lot of like these diffuse kind of blended eye looks like with no cut crease. And I've just been absolutely loving it. So I've been trying my hand at that type of style for the last couple of looks I've been doing. And it's just something different from like the typical cut crease that I usually like to do. So since that's the look I'm going for, I really want to make sure that everything is really well blended and there's no like harsh lines anywhere. So that way when I place my next eyeshadow onto the lid area, it blends into the crease a lot more smoothly. So the blue eyeshadow that I used first for the lid is called Berber and it's also from the Saharan 2 palette. I'm using a flat brush to apply this onto the lid and I'm making sure to blend out the edges, of course, to get that diffused look. I'm then gonna go in with my Peaches and Cream pigment in the shade Mermaze. These pigments are poppin', so make sure you guys check them out if you're looking for some really cute pigments to use. I'm also using the NYX Glitter Primer underneath the pigment just to kind of give it something a little extra to hold on to, but you definitely don't need it to get the pigmentation. That it does all on its own. This I just like to use for extra security purposes. I'm also gonna go back into that shade Zora and blend out the edges of the pigment as well as add a little bit onto the outer corner in the lash line to kind of give me like a little smoky liner type of thing going on. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply my lashes. I'm using the Bold Face Makeup Lashes in the shade, oh my gosh. And the style Bold is Beautiful. And I'm just applying these using my little tweezers as usual. And now we're moving on to skin. I'm starting off using this Glow Lotion from Covergirl. It's the lighter shade out of the two I think that they have. I love me some glowy skin underneath my foundation. I feel like it just sets you up for a good foundation day when you have nice glowy skin to start off with before you put on your foundation, especially if you love to use full coverage formulas. I'm also using some new foundation today from LA Colors. I use two shades for this look. I use Cafe, which is the lighter color, and Warm Caramel. Looking back, I could have definitely used just the lighter shade because one of the downfalls about this foundation is that it does oxidize a lot. But for $6 and this coverage, I was not complaining at all. So just make sure you pick up a shade that's maybe a little bit lighter than your skin tone to compensate for it oxidizing. Because honey, when I tell you that this foundation had my skin looking like butter, I was feeling myself today. I really was. I'm then gonna go ahead and apply some concealer. I'm using the Colourpop No Filter concealers, and they did end up changing the numbers for them. So the new numbers for these two concealers are number 32 and I think number 40. I'll make sure to put the names in the description box just in case I have those two mistaken. But once I'm done applying my concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and blend everything out using a brush, and then I'm gonna go over everything using a sponge to get that nice extra smooth look. So now that our under eyes are nice and bright, it's time for us to set everything using some powder. I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder, and this has become one of my favorite powders to use because it's definitely translucent. Like, some powders aren't like translucent when they say they are. Like, they be lying and stuff when they be saying translucent, but this powder is definitely translucent. It does not change like the color of the concealer or foundation that you have on underneath it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use that to set all the areas that I applied concealer. So now I'm going to go ahead and start bringing some color back into the skin. We're going to go ahead and snatch these cheekbones with the Anastasia Contouring Powder Kit, and I'm using the shade Tan to Deep. I'm using the top 3 contouring and bronzing colors. I like to use just a little bit of each and mix them together to kind of get like my perfect contouring and bronzing shade. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and apply a little bit on the cheekbones, a little bit on the forehead, on the nose, and around the cupid's bow and a lower lip to give us like that fuller lip look. I want to start finishing up the eyes now, so I'm going to start smoking out the lower lash line, first using the purple eyeshadow from the Zulu palette. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliner in the shade Vice, just to kind of match like the purple effect that's going on the lower lash line. Then to smoke out the liner, I'm going to go ahead and use the shade Ife from the Magic palette by Juvia's Place. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my L'Oreal Lash Primer. As always, I always like to use this before I put on my mascara for my lower lashes. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows using my Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade in the shade Ebony. To set my skin and make sure that it's like not too powdery looking, I'm using the Covergirl setting spray, and I actually really like this spray. Covergirl sent me a bunch of new products to try for their spring 2018 collection, and this is one of my favorites out of the collection. It has like this really nice fragrance to it too, so definitely give it a try if you're looking for like a new inexpensive setting spray to use. But I always like to apply my highlighter after I apply my setting spray, so I'm using the Anastasia and Amrezy highlighter today, and yeah, I'm just applying that to all the high points of the face, cheekbones, a little bit on the forehead, a little bit on the nose, a little bit on the cupid's bow, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply that onto the inner corners, brow bone, and chin as well. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and do lips. I'm using my favorite lip liner right now from Juvia in the shade Espresso. I love their lip liners because they're really, really smooth and it doesn't take a lot of like pressure to get the pigmentation going. So yeah, I'm just going to use that to line my lips. Then for my lip color, I'm using the Kylie Cosmetics Matte Liquid Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Dulce K. So I'm applying it onto my lips first and then blending it in using my finger just to make sure that it gets a really good blend into the lip liner. I've been obsessed with the Lime Crime Diamond Crushers, so I'm using the shade Pink Pearl today and applying that onto the center of the lips for a little bit of lip glow. After I apply it, I'm going to blend it out using my finger, and then we're going to add a little bit of lip gloss. This is the Peaches and Cream lip gloss in the shade Diamond, and oh my gosh, when I say that the name basically speaks for itself, this lip gloss is so glittery, and I'm definitely going to be using it in more tutorials because it's just super cute. But that's pretty much it for this look, guys. If you've been loving these makeup tutorials, definitely subscribe to my channel so that way you don't miss any of my tutorials, and make sure to click on that bell so you get a notification. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video.
Top on my line, you can make time, stop on a dime. I think you mastered the art of sublime. Your type is harder to find. You can turn water to wine, yeah. You can turn water to wine.